If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
Non-human biologics? What?
I love you. Oh, I love you. Yes, I love you. Oh.
Welcome to the end times. Welcome to the end times.
Hi, I'm Mike.
Hey, I'm Charlie.
We have a great show for you today. We are going to be talking about everything extraterrestrial.
Woo!
Now that the dust has had a chance to settle a little bit, what is going on with Miami?
Well, for those of you who don't know, New Year certainly got kicked off with a bang or two in Miami's Bayside Marketplace shopping mall in the early evening of January 1st. What started out to be a calm holiday at the mall suddenly turned into what many there described as one of the scariest experiences of their lives. There was popping sounds coming from a little box, and then fireworks and aliens sent shoppers running for the exits.
Check this out.
Esta es una llamada a todas las unidades de la ciudad de Miami.
Witnesses claim they saw 3 alien entities that were 8 to 10 feet tall. That's terrifying, right?
And very real.
Yeah. They came out of like this little box thingy, right? One of the guys was describing. And then they were just like there, and they started glitching. Then they were disappearing and reappearing closer to the crowd. I mean, I would have been running for my life as well.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
When the police were outside confronting people and asking them what they saw, and then asking them to delete any video that they had of anything that went on in there, which I thought was really, really strange.
That is very strange.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, right. The official statement from the police was that they were informed that there was a group of teenagers fighting with sticks, and lighting fireworks and causing a fire hazard. Sticks.
Teenagers fighting with sticks. Were they pickup sticks or were they chopsticks?
Maybe they were breadsticks.
Sounds like somebody's hungry. Well, fireworks could possibly cause the mall to burn down, so it would make sense that they would have a big response. But I didn't see one fire truck, one fireman, or even a firefly.
No, there were no fire trucks there. I didn't see any in the video. I mean, I have a few questions about this whole thing besides the fire truck thing, which is one of them. I mean, the whole thing seems to be a little bit off. There's something missing, a missing link or something. First question is obvious. Why so many cops? I mean, they said there was up to like 100 cop cars, and a lot of them were there before this stuff even started happening.
Right.
So how would they know that? Okay. And of course, then it happened on New Year's Day, which is normally a day that most folks like to relax and recover from the festivities from the night before. So why did Miami seem to have every cop in their employment on duty? Making time and a half as it was, and then showing up before it even happened. I mean, that would cost the city of Miami a lot of money. I don't know. Do you think this is real, or this is actually a hoax? I mean,
Well, before I answer that, sometimes you have to take a trip back to the past to find answers for something in the present. So let's go back to 1938 when this whole UFO thing started. When many people around the country really believed that aliens from Mars, they used to call them Martians, had landed in New Jersey and were wreaking havoc.
Yep. A young producer by the name of Orson Welles was debuting his interpretation of a science fiction story by H.G. Wells called War of the Worlds.
Right. People had no idea what to expect when they gathered around their radios.
Disastrous.
Many people joined the broadcast too late to hear the disclaimer about the reenactment and believed that what they were hearing was actually happening.
Imagine.
When over the airways you hear a reporter frantically describing what's the impossible.
Yeah, what would you think? You know, especially in those days, right?
Right. Check this out.
Princeton and east to Jamesburg under martial law. No one will be permitted to enter this area except by special pass issued by state or military authorities. 4 companies of state militia are proceeding from Trenton to Grover's Mill and will aid in the evacuation of homes within the range of military operations. Thank you.
You have just been listening to General Montgomery Smith, commanding the state militia at Trenton. In the meantime, further details of the catastrophe at Grover's Mill are coming in. The strange creatures, after unleashing their deadly assault, crawled back in their pit and made no attempt to prevent the efforts of the firemen to recover the bodies and extinguish the fire.
I don't know if I would have believed that if I were there. Are you thinking that you would have believed it if you were there at
that
that time?
sounded pretty realistic for the time. I mean, if that's all I heard, I'd probably believe it.
Well, it made Orson Welles famous. I mean, he never looked back. He went on to become one of the greatest actors of his time from this.
Mm-hmm. But now back to the present time.
Yes.
There has been a lot of UFO hype, especially more so recently.
Yeah, a lot.
So let's dive into the mysterious world of UFO, UAPs, and aliens. Are they really visiting Earth? Are they friend or foe? Do they have an evil agenda? The answers are out there.
I mean, for decades, the U.S. government has been shrouded in secrecy regarding their knowledge of these unidentified objects flying with impunity in the skies of our country and the world, right?
Yeah, that's right. One of the most notorious chapters in this secret government saga was called Project Blue Book. That was a covert initiative by the U.S. military to investigate UFO sightings. Now, the project was cut after 10 years and thousands of eyewitness investigations, and the report was found inconclusive.
Inconclusive,
so
of course.
The project was closed, and a gag order was put over the whole entire military so that nobody dared speak of such things out of the fear that they would be canceled, quite literally.
Literally. The shroud of secrecy remained for more than 70 years until recently now. Documents acquired through the Freedom of Information Act forced the government to finally admit that UFOs are real.
That's right.
Suddenly, in the summer of 2023, a seismic shift occurred. 3 credible whistleblowers came forth. Finally, David Gresh, an intelligence officer, Ryan Graves, a Navy pilot, and David Fravor, a Navy commander. They all gave testimony in front of the United States House of Representatives and exposed a decades-long cover-up by giving detailed accounts of what they learned when they were still enlisted.
The most compelling testimony came from David Gresh. Gresh disclosed being briefed about recovered alien crafts as well as the pilots that flew them. Check this out.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
Non-human biologics? What?
This was the biggest story in human history, and ever since that day, nothing but crickets. The media barely covered it, and if the media doesn't make a big deal about something, then
why should anybody else?
All upset, and
Exactly. I mean, can you imagine if the media would have freaked out and covered the story from that angle? Now we could have had 1938 all over again.
Yeah, but for real this time.
Exactly. So all that just to conclude that they do exist, and yet we know nothing about them. I'm not sure I get it. I mean, if we've been reverse engineering alien spacecraft for about 80 years and we know nothing about it, something, again, is missing here. I mean, I'm no conspiracy theorist, as you can hear out there, but sounds to me like it's BS. Sorry.
Yeah, well, let's not forget all the credible whistleblowers that came in the past. Some even claim to have witnessed firsthand alien crafts recovered and pilots and things like that, possibly from the Roswell, New Mexico incident.
A lot of them were hushed up for a long time. People like Bob Lazar, Stephen Greer, and countless others. The question I've never been able to answer, and I've been thinking about myself for a long time, is like, why do you supposedly think they crashed to begin with? I mean, common sense and basic logic would beg the question, if aliens are so advanced and ahead of us, then why crash so much? It seems to me they started crashing when we were able to shoot things down from the skies. That's, if you ask me.
That's a good point. But I believe the rabbit hole goes deeper than anyone can imagine. If you factor in the tens of thousands of eyewitness reports and all of the reports of abductions,
right.
And there are even stories out there that not only does our government know about UAPs and aliens, but they're actively working with and have contracts with more than one alien species. How does that grab you?
I'd rather grab myself. with you, but seriously though, it's like, why now? Why all of a sudden does the government want us to believe that UAPs and aliens are real and visiting our planet?
Mm-hmm.
What's changed? I mean, what do you think is really going on here?
Well, it did seem that the whistleblowers were a little too constrained in what they could say, almost like they were being controlled or put up to it or something. I don't know.
You're right. I thought so too. I mean, it's like when you can blow a whistle, right?
Yeah.
They were holding back.
Blow, but no, it was, I can't say this and I can't say that. I mean, you know, I always take what the government says with a grain of salt. So,
Yeah,
you know,
true.
their track record speaks for itself.
Well, what are you thinking?
Well, I've always believed in UFOs and ETs. Since the first time I looked up and saw one in the skies, I was hooked. After that, and to this day, I probably lost count of the sightings I've had, though.
Wow.
Some of them I was able to capture on video. Some came with really strange circumstances.
Strange in what way?
Well, okay, so there's this guy online by the name of Robert Bingham. He claims that he can summon UFOs at will. And he holds like these things in Los Angeles where he gets groups of people at the park and they all do this thing to summon the UFO. And sure enough, about a half an hour, 20 minutes later, you see the UFOs.
Wow.
And there they are in front of everybody. So I thought, I want to try and summon a UFO. I wonder if I can do it. So I tried.
That's pretty out there. I mean, weren't you kind of worried or nervous about?
No, because I didn't believe that I could do it, but what happened in my case, I did it 3 times and something happened on 2 occasions, but not the day that I actually did it. It would be the next day when I walked outside and looked up. There they were, and I was able to capture that on video.
Well, that we have some clips of.
Yeah, check this out.
Check it out.
Now, this first one, you're going to see the little white dot in your screen moving around, but it wasn't really moving around in the sky. It was just I couldn't see it very well in the viewfinder, so I was moving around. It would look like it was about 10,000 feet in the air. Sometimes it would fade out and fade back in. But
it's like an orb or something? Orby
yeah, it was
color?
like an orb. It looked like a little dot. It was like a balloon, but it wasn't. Now, this one here was from 2013. This was off of my balcony here.
That looks like a helicopter.
In Los Angeles. This helicopter would come out every day. I'd go outside, then the helicopter would show up at the same time. And then if I was late going outside, it would be late too, which I thought was weird. So I videotaped it one day, and I didn't see that there was an orb pacing the helicopter up to the right. If you look up to the right, you'll see it just come in.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I didn't see that when I was videotaping this helicopter. I just thought this helicopter was very strange. I don't know. It was spinning too. So
what?
Right? It's just right there. I didn't even see it. And this last one was like some kind of shapeshifter. That was over the Hollywood Hills.
That looks like a bird.
At first it looks like a bird, then it turns into looks like a human.
A human?
And then it starts to sparkle and glitch out.
It looks more like a bird. Oh my God, that's actually, it is a human. It's human-like.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, go back.
It was actually pretty big too.
Wait a minute, that's the bird again. What?
You see that it looks like a little energy field around it, and it started sparkling and stuff.
Where'd it go?
On Runyon Canyon.
Oh, you lost it?
I couldn't see it very well in the viewfinder. I had to keep.
That was amazing. I mean, oh, there it is again. Oh my God, it looks like he's got his 2 legs separated. He's like walking.
Yeah, I saw a couple of videos with this very similar thing in them on YouTube.
Wow. So that, my friends, is some unbelievable evidence.
Yeah, but it doesn't tell us much about Miami.
You told me there was a suspicious timeline in your thoughts. I mean, what was that about?
If you Google Project Blue Beam. And then replace the word deity with the word alien, you'll understand my timeline. Number 1, there was disclosure on Tucker Carlson last summer, right? Because of the Freedom of Information Act.
Right.
Then about a month later, there was a family in Las Vegas. I don't know if you remember seeing that on the news. It was all over the news that they saw aliens in their yard.
Yes. Oh my God, that's right.
Then suddenly they disappeared or something.
You never heard another peep about that.
No. And then like a few weeks or a month after that, it was 3 whistleblowers that came forward. And now the Miami incident happened. I mean, it's just weird. If you listen to the eyewitness accounts, there were a few other things that caught my attention. People said that they were glitching, right?
Glitching, yeah, like digital, like hologramish.
Right, like a hologram would glitch. So they also said that the aliens would disappear and then reappear, right? Like a projector handing off to another projector so the aliens could appear to walk, maybe.
I'm following you. Yeah.
Then they said as soon as the aliens appeared that all the other lights went out.
All the lights in the mall.
Right.
Including the outside part.
Right.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
So a hologram would be easier to see in the dark. So if the lights went out, that would give more of an opportunity to see it better. And okay,
Yeah, so,
you may have something.
Yeah, get where I'm going?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, do you think the aliens in Miami could be real at all?
Personally, I do not. And I know that's going to upset a lot of people, but for all the things I just mentioned, plus the fact that there seem to be way too many police there for such a quiet holiday, and then those police officers responding so quickly.
And they're early, some of them?
Yeah, just, and finally the whole thing where the police were trying to check people's phones, allegedly, to erase the footage and stuff. It's all very strange.
You put some thought into this one, huh?
Mm-hmm.
As convincing as that was, the subject of UAPs and ETs remains as enigmatic as ever. I don't know if we'll ever get full disclosure from the governments. So the best advice I have for everybody out there and everybody in there is to stay alert, question everything that they tell you, and keep your eyes to the skies, right?
That sounds like good advice to me.
How about you guys? What do you think? What are your thoughts on this? We'd love to hear it. I mean, if you have any, please leave them in the comment section.
Tell us your stories.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we appreciate you tuning into today's episode. It's our goal to entertain, enlighten, and hopefully learn a new thing or two ourselves as well. I mean, we'd love everyone to become part of the End Times family, and it really helps if you subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. I know you hear that a lot in every channel you look at, but it's real important because we're new and we can use all the help we can get.
Please, yes, we're begging.
We're begging. So I guess that's it for now, right?
Yeah, I think that's
I had fun. You had fun?
I had a great time.
Awesome. I hope you had fun.
Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you all next time.
He's Mike Carpenter.
I'm Mike Carpenter. He's Charlie Geary.
I'm Charlie Geary, and we'll see you next time in an episode of The End Times. Bye.
Bye.